All right, listen up, coin collectors and those just getting started in the world of rare coins. Have you ever looked at your pocket change and thought, maybe this penny's worth more than I think? Well, if you've got a 1969 D Lincoln penny sitting around, you might want to give it another look. Why? Because it could be worth a small fortune. I'm talking up to $1.8 million. Yeah, you heard me right. $1.8 million. That's not a typo, my friend. Now, before you start scouring your couch cushions or the bottom of your purse, let me explain how a simple penny, a 1969 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny, can fetch such a crazy price. You might be wondering, what makes it so special? It's just a penny, right? And you're kinda right, but also totally wrong. It's not just any penny. This little coin has a rich history and a story behind it that'll make you want to keep checking your change from now on. Trust me on this one. So, what makes this coin worth so much? The 1969 D penny from the Denver Mint was produced like any other, but some of them were minted with a rare mistake, one that sent coin collectors into a frenzy. You see, some of these pennies have what's called a double die obverse. Translation? The design was struck twice during production, making the image of Lincoln and the date appear doubled or blurred. Think of it like a printing mistake where the ink bled a bit, but instead, it's on metal. And, unlike a blurry receipt you toss out, this one's worth a lot of money. Well, how do I know if I've got one of these super rare pennies? First off, let me just drop this little bomb on you. If you've got one, it could be worth up to $1.8 million. No joke. Now, I'm not saying you'll find one just hanging out in your change jar, but if you've got a sharp eye and a little bit of luck, you might just get your hands on one. Coin dealers and collectors are constantly on the lookout for these babies. Let me tell you a quick story from my own experience. Years ago, I found a penny in my backyard. I was digging around for something. I don't even remember what, and out pops this old penny. At first, I thought, well, it's just a penny, right? I tossed it in my pocket, didn't think much of it. Later, when I was going through my coins, I took a closer look, and I realized it was from the 60s. Not quite the 1969 D, but still, it was in great shape. I thought I was about to be a millionaire. Turns out, it wasn't worth much, just the standard penny value. But that excitement, that feeling of holding something rare, totally unforgettable. So, if you've got a 1969 D out there, imagine the thrill of realizing you're holding a coin worth more than your car. Check the mint mark. A 1969 D penny has the D for Denver on the reverse side. If your penny has that, it's time to take a closer look. Next, inspect the front of the penny, the obverse. If you see any doubling in the date or the word Liberty, or even in Lincoln's beard, you might just have a double die obverse penny on your hands. But here's the thing, don't expect it to be easy. These pennies are super rare, so if you spot one, don't just toss it in your change jar thinking it's another regular penny. Get it checked out by a professional. If you think you've got the real deal, you might want to get it appraised. A lot of collectors are more than willing to pay top dollar for a rare find like this. And the best part is you don't even need to leave your house to start the process. Online auctions, numismatic shops, and coin dealers will all be eager to take a look and make you an offer. Heck, you could even sell it at a coin convention if you're into the whole face-to-face thing. So there you have it, folks. The 1969 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a simple coin that's so much more than just pocket change. If you've got one lying around, it could be the key to a small fortune. Remember, not all pennies are created equal, and this one, well, it could be the rare gem in your collection. If you want more tips on how to spot valuable coins, strategies to up your collecting game, or just want to hear more fun stories about my coin hunts, seriously, they're kinda crazy, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You never know, the next coin you find could make you a millionaire, or at least a really good story for your friends. So, don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep an eye on your change, because in the world of rare coins, anything can happen. What if I told you that you might have a coin sitting in your pocket right now worth more than a brand new car, or even a house? Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, buckle up because today, we're diving deep into the mystery of the 2006 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yes, the penny. And it could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.9 million. Stick around to learn how one tiny penny could make you rich, and how you might just have one in your collection without even realizing it. Let's get into it. Alright, let's take a quick trip back in time. The year is 2006. Gas prices are creeping up, we're all obsessed with flip phones, and the world is still reeling from the last season of Friends wrapping up. But amid all of this, something happened that would shake the world of coin collectors forever. The US Mint made a mistake. A mistake so tiny, but so significant that it could turn a humble penny into a fortune. Now, let me pause for a second. Who even thinks a penny is worth anything these days? Seriously, who's like, wow, I've got a solid collection of pennies. I bet I'll make a killing. The reality is, most of us toss pennies into a jar and forget about them. But, as I'll explain today, the 2006 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny is the exception to the rule. So, what makes this penny so special? Well, here's the deal. In 2006, the US Mint was producing millions of pennies, no surprise there. But during production, a batch of pennies was mistakenly struck with the wrong die. Instead of a clear D Mint mark from the Denver Mint, these pennies were struck with a no mint mark error, making them incredibly rare. If you happen to have one of these errors sitting in your coin jar, congratulations, you're sitting on a small fortune. Now, you might be wondering, how can a coin that's only worth 1 cent become worth so much? Well, this penny, if it's in good condition and has that magical no mint mark error, could be worth up to $1.9 million. Yes, you heard me right, $1.9 million. It sounds like a lot of money for a coin that you might have found under your couch cushions, but these little errors are highly sought after by collectors, and they're willing to pay top dollar for them. But let's be real. You're probably thinking, okay, but how do I actually know if I have one of these pennies? Great question. Here's the trick. Most of the time, these pennies won't stand out unless you're looking closely. The mint mark is the key. The D mint mark should be visible near the date on the coin. If it's missing, that's the big giveaway that you might have an error penny. But just to be sure, you'll want to check the condition of the coin, because the better the condition, the more money it can fetch. Alright, so here's a funny story to break it up. I remember going through a box of coins my grandmother left me. She had this giant jar filled with pennies, and I thought, I'll just throw them all in a roll and take them to the bank for some quick pocket change. But something stopped me. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the thrill of imagining I could find a treasure. Or maybe I was just trying to avoid doing the dishes. But when I started looking closer, I realized some of those pennies looked, well, different. Not quite no mint mark special, but they were unusual in their own right. I still laugh to this day because I spent hours going through those pennies like I was on some sort of treasure hunt, only to find that none of them were worth more than a couple of cents. But that's the kind of thrill that coin collecting gives you. It's a treasure hunt every time you look through your change.so. How do you check your pennies? First, look for that mint mark, and don't forget to check the quality of the penny itself. A coin in pristine condition is worth far more than one that's seen its fair share of pavement. If you find a no mint mark penny from 2006, you're in the money, potentially up to $1.9 million. But where do I even sell a penny for that much? Well, the best way to cash in on your rare pennies is to get them appraised. There are plenty of reputable coin dealers and auction houses that specialize in rare coins, and they'll be able to tell you just how much your penny is worth in the current market. So, there you have it. The 2006 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Could it be sitting in your pocket right now? If you've got a jar of pennies at home, it might just be worth going through them. Who knows? You might find the next big thing in the world of rare coins. Remember, the value of these coins isn't just about the face value. It's about the rarity and the story behind them. So, get out there, start searching, and you might just strike it rich. And if you enjoyed this little treasure hunt, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more tips on finding coins worth money, strategies to build your collection, and some fun stories from the world of numismatics. You won't want to miss out on more tips to help you turn pennies into profits. You're not going to believe what I just found out. Did you know that a 1967 Lincoln penny with no mint mark could be worth a whopping $2 million? Yep, you heard that right, $2 million. I mean, just think about it. You could probably retire tomorrow or buy your dream car with just one of these pennies in your pocket. But wait, before you start digging through your change jar, let's talk about why this penny is so valuable and why it's not exactly your everyday find. This is a story of mistakes, mystery, and a whole lot of cash. So grab a snack, sit back, and let's dive into this crazy coin adventure. So, what exactly makes the 1967 Lincoln penny so special? I mean, they made millions of pennies in 1967, right? How could a single penny be worth that much? Well, let's break it down. First things first, mint marks. Most pennies you come across will have a mint mark on them. It's a little letter, either D for Denver, S for San Francisco, or P for Philadelphia. The mint mark tells you where the coin was made. But here's the kicker. In 1967, the U.S. Mint accidentally produced some pennies without a mint mark. And not just any pennies. We're talking about pennies that were supposed to be minted in Philadelphia, but for some reason came out without that crucial little letter. Now, you're probably thinking, well, that's a mistake. But is it worth $2 million? And the answer is yes. In the world of coin collecting, mistakes can make a coin even more valuable. A missing mint mark on a coin that's supposed to have one? That's like finding a rare, uncut diamond in a pile of rocks. Finding one of these elusive pennies is like finding a needle in a haystack. While millions of pennies were made that year, only a handful were produced without the mint mark. And that makes the ones that are missing their mint marks super rare and highly sought after by collectors. The rarity of the 1967 no mint mark penny is what makes it so valuable. The last time one of these coins sold at auction, it fetched a jaw-dropping $2 million. Okay, you're probably thinking, well, I'm just gonna go through all my old pennies now. But before you start going through your entire change jar or your childhood piggy bank, let me hit you with some important info. These rare pennies aren't just floating around out there. They're extremely hard to find. Let me give you a little relatable story here. A while ago, I went on a crazy hunt for a rare coin myself. I had heard about a 1955 double-die penny, another coin worth a lot of money. So, I spent a whole weekend digging through rolls of pennies. I found a few cool ones, but nothing close to what I was looking for. After hours of searching, I ended up with a few pennies that were just a little shiny and a lot of dust on my hands. Moral of the story? Finding a rare coin is a lot like looking for hidden treasure. It takes patience, a little luck, and knowing what to look for. But back to the 1967 no mint mark penny. If you ever happen to stumble upon one, you could be sitting on a fortune. That coin could be the key to your next vacation, a new car, or even early retirement. Now, before you go all Indiana Jones on your coin jar, here's a quick tip. Just because your penny doesn't have a mint mark doesn't automatically mean it's worth millions. You need to have the right conditions. The coin needs to be in excellent condition. No rust, no major scratches, no discoloration. And, of course, it needs to be an authentic 1967 penny with no mint mark, not some random error coin from another year. And if you think you've found one, the best thing you can do is have it graded by a professional. They'll assess its condition, authenticity, and give you a real sense of its value. Don't just take it to your local coin store and expect them to know right away. Get a trusted grading service to give it the once-over. If you come across a 1967 Lincoln penny without a mint mark, hold on to it. It could be worth millions. But remember, finding one of these rare pennies is like finding a needle in a haystack, so don't give up your day job just yet. But hey, while you're here, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more coin collecting tips and strategies. We'll be uncovering more hidden treasures and teaching you all about the coins that could be worth a fortune. And who knows, maybe you'll be the one who finds the next $2 million penny. Thanks for watching, and remember, keep collecting, keep hunting, and most importantly, keep having fun with it. You know, it's not every day that a penny can make you a millionaire, but today we're talking about a coin that might just be worth more than you ever imagined. Stick around, because I'm about to tell you the incredible story of the 1962 D-Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. A penny that, if you find it in your pocket change, could be worth a whopping $2.1 million. Yep, you heard that right, $2.1 million. So grab your magnifying glass and let's get into it. How is that even possible? Well, hold on to your hats, because this one's a doozy. You see, most of us have seen tons of pennies over the years, right? They're everywhere. The little copper coins we throw in our pockets, the ones we don't really give much thought to. But there's one specific 1962 D penny that's far from just an ordinary coin. The first thing to know about this penny is the D mint mark. That D means it was minted in Denver, which is important because, while most 1962 pennies are pretty common, some have a rare little feature that makes them a collector's dream. The 1962 D penny has something called a double die reverse error. Sounds fancy, doesn't it? Basically, the reverse side of the coin was struck twice, which gives the image a blurry, doubling effect. You've got Lincoln's memorial on the back, and it looks like it's been run through a copy machine on the fritz. A mistake like this is what makes the coin so valuable. Now, I'm sure you're asking yourself, how does a penny like this become worth millions? It all comes down to rarity, my friend. There are only a few of these double die reverse pennies out there, and finding one is like winning the coin lottery. Imagine digging through a jar of pennies you found in your grandma's basement and suddenly stumbling across this little gem. You'd probably think you were dreaming, right? But I'll tell you what, the value of this coin today, $2.1 million, could be yours if you happen to find one. And here's where things get a little wild. This isn't just some coin that collectors casually trade around. No, no. These babies are sought after by serious coin collectors, dealers, and even museums. In fact, a 1962 D double die reverse penny actually sold for $2.1 million at an auction not too long ago. Let that sink in for a second. A penny, the same size as the ones you toss in the tip jar at your local coffee shop, went for more than most of us will ever see in a lifetime. But hey, let's be real for a second. You're probably not going to find one of these coins under your couch cushions. That's true. But I can tell you from personal experience that hunting for rare coins can be a thrilling, rewarding journey. I remember back in the day, I was scouring through some rolls of old pennies, thinking, what could it hurt? When, lo and behold, I found a coin that turned out to be worth a whole lot more than I expected. Sure, it wasn't a $2.1 million find, but it still felt pretty good to find a treasure hidden in plain sight. That's the fun part of collecting coins. It's about the thrill of the hunt, the possibility that something unexpected might turn up in your spare change. It's like finding a needle in a haystack, but when you do, oh boy, it's worth it. So, keep looking. You never know when you might find the next big winner. Now, if you've got a 1962 D penny in your collection, or you think you might have one stashed away, here's a quick tip. The best way to check for that double die reverse error is by using a magnifying glass or a microscope. Look closely at the lettering and the image on the back of the coin. If you see any doubling or blurring, you might be holding a small fortune in your hands. So, now that you know about the 1962 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny and its crazy market value, what are you going to do with this newfound knowledge? Are you going to go through your penny jar with a fine-toothed comb? Maybe start digging through some old coin rolls? Either way, I hope this video inspires you to take a closer look at those pennies you've been tossing aside. Who knows, you might just stumble upon your very own $2.1 million treasure. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can keep getting all the tips, tricks, and coin knowledge you need to turn your change into cash. I've got plenty more exciting videos lined up to help you find coins worth money, and trust me, you don't want to miss out. You're about to learn about one of the most fascinating and valuable pennies in existence, the 1964 Lincoln penny without a mint mark. Now, you might be thinking, a penny? Really? Oh, trust me, you'll want to stick around for this one. Spoiler alert. We're talking about a coin that could be worth millions. Yes, millions. So, grab your magnifying glass, sit back, and let's dive into the mystery of this 1964 GEM.SO. Here's the scoop. In 1964, the U.S. Mint produced a boatload of pennies with a mint mark on them, as usual. But in a rare twist of fate, a few pennies slipped through the cracks, literally, with no mint mark at all. Normally, this wouldn't be a big deal. But when it comes to coins, no mint mark is like finding a needle in a haystack, except instead of a needle, it's a gold-plated needle worth millions. Now, you might be wondering, how can a penny from 1964, which is over 60 years old, be worth a small fortune? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down. Let me take you back a few years to when I got my first real taste of coin collecting. I was rummaging through an old jar of pennies I inherited from my grandmother, who apparently hoarded pennies like they were the key to eternal life. I found a shiny 1955 penny. My heart skipped a beat. Could it be a rare double die? Spoiler, it wasn't. But hey, a boy can dream, right? Now, imagine stumbling upon a coin like the 1964 no mint mark penny. Talk about dreams come true. Here's the thing. The value of these pennies is crazy because they're rare, really rare. There are only a handful of them out there. Estimates put the current market value at a jaw-dropping $2.2 million. Yes, million with an M. Now, before you get too excited and start digging through your piggy banks looking for a 1964 penny, let's talk about how to spot one of these bad boys. First off, it's important to know that not all 1964 pennies are worth millions. Only the ones that lack a mint mark, meaning they weren't stamped with the small D or S that would normally appear on a coin minted in Denver or San Francisco. So, how do you tell if your penny is a 1964 no mint mark? Well, if you have one, pull out a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. Yes, that's the technical term for those little things you use to inspect your coins. I feel fancy just saying that. Take a good, hard look at the obverse side of the penny, where Abraham Lincoln's face is proudly staring back at you. If there's no mint mark near the date, then congratulations. You're one step closer to owning a piece of history. Now, I know what you're thinking. But how do I know it's genuine? Good question. Since this penny is so valuable, there are counterfeit versions out there. But don't sweat it. Get it professionally appraised by a reputable dealer, and they'll help you out. If you're still not sure, take it to a coin show. Coin enthusiasts love to geek out over rare finds, and you might just meet someone who can confirm whether you've struck gold or copper. Even if you don't have a 1964 no mint mark penny, don't give up hope. There are still plenty of rare coins out there that are worth more than face value. We're talking about coins like the 1955 double die, 1937 D3-legged buffalo nickel, and many others. So don't throw away those old pennies just yet. You might have a hidden treasure lurking in your change jar. And don't forget that condition matters too. A penny that's been in circulation for decades won't be worth as much as one in mint condition. So, if you've been using your rare pennies as paperweights or playing poker with them, well, you might not be getting that $2.2 million for your coin. Unless, of course, the poker gods were on your side. Alright, so there you have it, the 1964 Lincoln penny without a mint mark. Who knew that one tiny little coin could be worth so much? It's a reminder that sometimes the most unexpected treasures are hiding right under our noses. So, what should you do now? Start going through your change. Inspect those pennies, and who knows? You could be sitting on a gold mine. Or, at the very least, a couple of bucks. And hey, if you're new to the world of rare coins, or you just love a good treasure hunt, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm here to give you all the tips and tricks to find coins worth money, and maybe, just maybe, help you uncover your very own little piece of history. So, subscribe, join the crew, and let's keep this coin collecting adventure going. Hey, folks, what if I told you that a penny, a single, tiny, copper disc you probably find stuck to the bottom of your couch cushions, could be worth a whopping $2.30 million? Sounds like a bad joke, right? But it's real. I'm talking about the 1975 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yeah, you heard that right. A penny from 1975 with no mint mark, and it's worth millions. Stick around because today, we're diving deep into why this coin is the one you should be looking for in your coin jar or in the back of that drawer you keep forgetting about. You won't believe what's at stake. Okay, let's start from the top. I know, when you think about pennies, you're probably not thinking about retirement funds or buying a yacht. But that's the beauty of coin collecting. You never know what you might have sitting around in your collection. Take this guy for example. This is your standard 1975 Lincoln penny. Nothing too special about it, right? I mean, it's just, well, a penny. It was minted in 1975, and at first glance you'd think, what's the big deal? But here's where it gets interesting. Normally, you'd expect to see a mint mark on a penny to tell you where it was made. Either a D for Denver, an S for San Francisco, or even none at all. But the 1975 no mint mark penny? Well, that's where the mystery begins. Now, don't go running off to your spare change jar just yet. It's not every 1975 penny that's worth a fortune. In fact, most of them are still worth, brace yourself, 1 cent. Shocking, I know. But the ones that were minted without a mint mark are the gold mine. So how does this happen? Was it a mistake? A freak accident? Did the minting machine just forget? Let's break it down. The 1975 pennies were meant to have a mint mark, either D or S, depending on where they were made. But for some reason, call it a mistake, a glitch in the system, or maybe even a little bit of divine coin intervention. Some pennies slipped through the cracks without that all-important mint mark. And that mistake, my friends, turned out to be the jackpot. It's like the coin version of stumbling upon a forgotten lottery ticket in your glove box and realizing you won the big one. Now, if you're thinking, how on earth do I know if I have one of these million-dollar pennies? Well, that's where the fun begins. First, you need to check your pennies closely. The key here is the absence of a mint mark. If you've got a 1975 penny with nothing but Honest Abe staring back at you, you might have struck gold or copper, but you get the point. Now, I'm sure some of you are like, oh great, just what I need, another wild goose chase. But trust me, it's worth the effort. There are still some out there waiting to be found, and some are already going for as much as $2.3 million. Imagine finding that penny while you're digging through your old coin jar. You're in the kitchen, you're looking for that elusive quarter to pay for your morning coffee, and boom, you find this treasure. I actually had a similar experience. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my grandfather's old desk when I found a box of pennies. I didn't think much of it, but I figured, hey, I'll go through them just for fun. Turns out, one of them was a rare 1943 copper penny. A mistake from the mint. That penny? Worth thousands. Not quite millions, but it was enough to make me start seriously looking at my spare change a lot differently. All right, now that you're fully armed with the knowledge of the 1975 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, here's what you should do next. Head to your coin jar, check your change, and start searching for that elusive gem. Because who knows? You might just find a coin that's worth more than your whole collection combined. Now, before you run off to your closet full of old coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We've got plenty more tips and tricks to help you unlock hidden treasures in your coin collection. Don't miss out on more ways to make your pennies and your time worth more than ever. And if you find that $2.3 million penny, don't forget to drop me a comment. I'll be here waiting to hear about your riches. Until next time, keep searching, keep collecting, and remember, it's all about finding that one special coin. Have you ever found a penny that made you double take? Maybe it was a lucky penny you picked up on the street, or one that was hiding deep in your couch cushions. Now, imagine this. You find a 1971 penny in your jar of loose change, and it's worth, wait for it, $2.4 million. Sounds like a wild dream, right? But it's not a dream. It's a reality for those in the know about the elusive 1971 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Stick around, and I'll tell you exactly how this tiny coin could be hiding in plain sight and how you might be sitting on a small fortune. All right, let's dive in. If you're thinking, wait, a penny is worth how much? Yes, you heard that right. This isn't just any regular penny, folks. Most pennies are stamped with a mint mark, which indicates where they were made, either the Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco Mint. But here's the catch. Some pennies, particularly those minted in 1971, don't have that mint mark. Why? Well, it was a mistake, a very expensive one. You see, in 1971, the U.S. Mint was working with a bunch of new equipment, and the minting process got a little, let's say, careless. A batch of pennies came out of the Philadelphia Mint without any mint marks stamped on them, something that was not supposed to happen. At first, they probably thought, no big deal, and sent them out into circulation. Well, turns out it was a big deal, and now that little mistake is worth millions. Now, you might be asking, why does the mint mark matter? Well, mint marks are like the coin's ID card. They tell you where the coin came from and make it a little more collectible. But without that mark, the 1971 penny became a bit of a unicorn in the coin world. Rare, hard to find, and highly valuable. If you were to come across one of these 1971 no mint mark pennies, you might not even know it unless you're really paying attention. That penny could be sitting quietly in your change jar, waiting for the right moment to make you a millionaire. As of today, the current market value of a well-preserved 1971 no-mint mark penny can hit a jaw-dropping $2.4 million at auction. Yes, you read that right. It's a coin that cost you 1 cent, but could turn into a fortune if it's in the right condition. The price will vary depending on its grade, but in top shape, that penny can bring in a fortune, proving that sometimes the smallest things can make the biggest difference. Now, I know what you're thinking. What are the chances of me actually finding one of these? I get it. It's not like you can just walk into any store and demand change in the form of rare pennies, although that would be a fun conversation to have with your cashier. Here's where things get real practical. To find a 1971 no mint mark penny, you need to be on the lookout. First things first, grab a magnifying glass. It sounds a bit detective-ish, but trust me, it's worth it. Start by checking the date on your penny. Make sure it's 1971, not earlier, not later. Then, flip it over and check for the mint mark, right underneath the word Liberty, where it would usually say D for Denver or S for San Francisco. If there's no mark, then you've got yourself a rare coin. But be careful, it's got to be in good condition. The better the condition, the more valuable it's going to be. It's also helpful to know that most 1971 pennies don't have the mint mark, but they're not worth millions. So, if your penny looks worn, scratched, or corroded, it's probably not the one that will make you rich. But hey, don't toss it just yet. If you have a nice, shiny penny from 1971, it's still worth something, just not $2.40 million. Let me tell you a little story from my personal experience. A while back, I was cleaning out some old boxes in my attic and stumbled upon a jar of coins from my childhood. I thought, what the heck, I'll take a look. I found a penny from 1982 and got all excited, thinking I had a rare coin. Because, some of those are worth a lot. Well, I spent a solid 30 minutes researching it, only to realize it wasn't rare at all. Just a regular penny. Talk about an anticlimax. I'll admit, I felt a little silly, but hey, that's part of the fun of coin collecting. You never know what you might find. If you find a 1971 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, you might just have a gold mine on your hands. But remember, not every 1971 penny is going to be worth millions. You need to check the condition, look for that mint mark, and do a little research. But even if you don't find a $2.4 million penny, who knows? You might still have a few rare ones lying around that are worth more than face value. If you found this information helpful, or if you just want to keep learning about cool coins that could make you a fortune, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got more tips, tricks, and stories about rare coins, and trust me, you don't want to miss out. So, click subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and let's keep this coin journey going. You're probably scrolling through YouTube, hoping to find the next big thing that could make you millions, and guess what? You might be holding it in your hands right now. Imagine finding a penny, just a regular penny, but it's worth a whopping $2.5 million. Sounds like a dream? Well, folks, it's a reality, and it's the 1982 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Stick with me for the next few minutes, because I'm about to show you why your old change jar could be hiding a small fortune. Now, don't go running to check your piggy bank just yet. Not every 1982 penny is going to make you a millionaire, but this one has a story that'll blow your mind. And it's exactly why this little copper coin is worth way more than the lunch you bought with it in 1982. Alright, let's set the stage. Back in 1982, the US Mint decided to change up the game. They were making pennies, but here's the kicker. Some of them got the D Mint mark, meaning they were produced in Denver. But not all of them were created equally. Some had a unique feature that made them stand out like a needle in a haystack. And well, that's the needle you want to find. What's so special about the 1982 D penny? Great question. The secret is in the weight, my friend. Most pennies from 1982 were made from 95% copper, but right around that time, the US Mint also started experimenting with a new, cheaper zinc-based alloy. So what happened? Well, some of those pennies that were minted in Denver, let's call them the lucky few, ended up having the copper blend, while others had the zinc blend. The catch? A small batch of these copper pennies slipped through the cracks, and those are the ones we're talking about. Now, these pennies aren't just worth a couple of bucks. No, no, no. They're worth $2.5 million. Yeah, you heard me right. A penny. $2,500,000. Pretty wild, right? These copper 1982 D pennies are super rare. A lot of people didn't even know they existed, until someone really started paying attention. Imagine this. If you had a time machine and could go back to the 80s, you could walk into a gas station with a pocket full of pennies, drop one on the counter and say, "That's going to be worth $2.5 million someday." But back then, you'd probably get a strange look, maybe even be told to go back to your high school chemistry class. Anyway, these rare pennies are so hard to find that when one of them pops up at auction, it gets attention. The last one sold at a crazy price, and suddenly, everyone was looking at their coin jars thinking, "Hey, do I have one of those?" Well, let me tell you, not many people do. But don't lose hope. You never know what you might find when you take a good, hard look at those pennies tucked away in your old drawer. Now, let's talk about how to spot one of these elusive beauties. First off, you need to know that the 1982 D copper penny looks just like any other penny, except for that mint mark. So, what you're looking for is the weight. You can grab a scale and compare it to a regular penny, or, here's a pro tip, if the penny feels a little heavier than usual, you might just have the golden ticket. But remember, just because it's a 1982D doesn't automatically make it worth millions. Condition matters, too. If your penny's been through the ringer, or it looks like it's been down a few storm drains, it's probably not going to fetch the big bucks. A pristine penny, though? That's where the magic happens. And here's the kicker. This whole coin collecting thing? It's more than just luck. I've got my own story to share. A few years ago, I thought I'd found a rare coin in my pocket change. I was convinced I had discovered a hidden treasure. I raced to the local coin shop, only to find out it was worth, well, less than my lunch. But that didn't stop me. Every coin I find now, I treat like it could be the next big jackpot. And that's the beauty of coin collecting. It's the thrill of the hunt. You never know when you might strike gold, or in this case, copper. So, if you've got a jar full of pennies from the 80s, or any year, really, take a moment to look through them. While the 1982 D copper penny is definitely one to keep an eye out for, don't forget that there are plenty of other valuable coins waiting to be discovered. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more coin tips and strategies to help you on your journey to finding hidden treasures. Who knows? Your next coin could be the one that changes your life. Thanks for watching, and remember, keep your eyes peeled, your scales handy, and your collection growing. You never know when that next $2.5 million penny might show up.